New at 7, local first responders are getting ready for a week-long bike ride to raise awareness for EMS personnel hurt or killed in the line of duty. 10 News reporter Irisha Jones talked with members of the Blacksburg Volunteer Rescue Squad before they left for their first stop.
Lora Lattanzi is finishing her shift as an EMT at the Blacksburg Volunteer Rescue Squad.
There's a lot of ways that you can give back to the community, and this is kind of what called to me.
In a few days, she'll participate in the National EMS Memorial Bike Ride from Boston to D.C.
My goal in this is to help bring awareness to first responders, to have fun and to survive.
And she says the cause is something near to her heart.
It is, a potentially dangerous situation. We're going into sometimes unstable situations.
Deputy Chief of EMS Operations Scott Davis was inspired by previous squad volunteers to do the bike ride. This is his 12th year. The 514-mile journey is in memory of EMS personnel hurt or killed in the line of duty. Some of them Davis knew personally.
Two of these are actually people that were members here.
Davis says it's an emotional experience to meet many of the families at the end of the ride.
The very first thing they do is they just come up and give you a hug. I think it brings a lot of closure to them, having that connection with somebody that's ridden their bike all week for the person that they love.
In 2017, 113 fire and EMS workers across the country died in the line of duty. In Blacksburg, Irisha Jones, 10 News, working for you.